Welcome to the next episode of Eureka. We have with us Professor Tarun Sauradeep, spokesperson for Indigo Consortium, India, and a senior professor at Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune.
The Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics IUCAA in Pune University, among India's most prestigious centers of astronomy and astrophysics research. Professor Tarun Sauradeep is one of its leading lights, a senior member of the IUCAA faculty. He completed a PhD in gravitation and cosmology here in the late 1980s and returned to teach at the institution in 2000 after postdoctoral research in Canada and the US. Professor Sauradeep has been building and nurturing a cosmology subgroup on cosmic microwave background. Professor Tarun Sauradeep is himself a significant contributor in the recent discovery of gravitational waves.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to this episode. We are happy to have you here. You are now heading Indigo Consortium. But as they say, every long journey starts with the first steps. How are your first steps? Where did you grow up? Where did you study?
So, I grew up essentially in Delhi. I came to Delhi when I was 2 years old, and I stayed in a place very close to IARI and NPL. It's a place called Patel Nagar. And interestingly enough, now I look back and see that that area has produced a lot of scientists.
Okay.
So, it does seem that if you have academic institutions around a place, that does get people into academics. My father himself was a cartoonist.
Okay.
So I did inherit creativity, but he was not a man of science. But I think the science inculcation came because there were a lot of friends whose parents were working in these labs.
So which school you went to?
I went initially to a school very close by called Faith Academy. And that kind of actually was nice. I mean, though it was a small school, but they inculcated very strong values, and I really appreciate that.
And then your graduation?
And I then, after that, I I finished my high school from Raisina Bengali School, and then I got into IIT Kanpur. I did my mechanical engineering there. And that was just a story. I was quite interested in physics. Many of my friends were, my brothers were, the elder brothers. I did think of physics, but as with many students, I did choose to go for engineering.
But then you came back to your passion later.
Yes, but I should also mention that looking back, I think the fact that I did engineering and then moved to physics does give me some background which a normal physicist will not have, and it's particularly important when you think of massive projects, because
who are kind of people who sort of influenced you in, or maybe role model, or
I think
kind of, you got impressed and then said that, okay, let me look at like that?
Honestly, I wouldn't say, I mean, in my early schooling days, up to class 10th, I mean, my family was convinced I was going to go into English literature. So I used to write, and that was my passion. Or I would say that seemed to be what I was meant for, not a maths guy or a science guy. In fact, when my brothers pointed it out, I sort of took it upon myself to crack the JEE and prove them wrong.
So we have a young boy who was all promise to be a writer, but today his name is in a paper which is talked all over the world. We'll have a short break. We'll continue this interesting discussion in a short while. Welcome back to this show of Eureka. We have with us a very interesting person, Dr. Tarun Sauradeep from Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. We are having a conversation with him of how you grow up in an atmosphere of art and literature and creativity, which sort of seeped into him and showed that wherever and whatever you do, creativity is a very important part. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
We are having a very nice conversation with you. Can you tell us about your days in IIT Kanpur?
IIT Kanpur was quite an interesting experience. It's amazing if you, at least in the Indian context, you don't see such a massive place with so much attention paid to training you well, and also a lot of opportunities to grow otherwise. My sort of advice to people who make it there is not to get too tied, tied to this so-called CGPA.
Here you sort of enrolled into
I was in IIT from 1984 to 88.
1984 to 1988. Kind of an interesting period in Indian history when quite a lot of young people were into new things. Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting. After IIT Kanpur, what happened?
After IIT Kanpur, I actually, like most of my friends, most of my friends went abroad. I did not, but I took up a job in iShare Research Center, and that was interesting. I could have taken marketing, but I preferred to do R&D at iShare. So I was hoping to get into automobile design, but then in few months I realized that they were shelving most of the things that we do, and so that sort of disappointed me, and I
So
moved.
basically, you are not getting a professional satisfaction. I mean,
Yeah,
you are doing something, but that doesn't.
Yeah,
seem
yeah.
to be,
It didn't seem to be. Work-wise there was no problem. They had all the facilities, but I don't think they had a end for it. They didn't really mean to use anything that we did. At that time, I realized that I should go back to my passion, and Ayuka was coming up at that time. And so I had just left my job. I was wondering what to do, and I had applied to a few places. I had an offer to work with Vishweshwara at R.R. Raman Research Institute in ISC, and I had Ayuka with Jayant Naldikar had just set up then, and I was very confused about the decision. But just because we are close to NPL, the later former Director General of CSIR was a friend of my father's, Dr. A.P. Mitra.
AP Mitra.
So I remember talking to him and asking him, my father said, what should this boy do? And he just said, look, if Jayant is setting up something, it will be great. So you should ask him to go there. And I came to
It's
Ayuka.
a doyen of Indian science. I suppose what we have as Indian science, I think, owes a great tribute to him. Great to, we owe much to his contribution. It's a well-known story. And Jayant is another person, I think, very magnetic,
Yes.
should I say?
Yes, magnetic, and he is amazing, because if you ask me what influenced me as a person, so one of the reasons Ayuka is I may be, but on the other hand, I think it's a very successful institute because the way we conduct ourselves, the values that were set in by Jayant. We are a very democratic institute. Even the youngest faculty has equal voice. And he inculcated that. And he used to give so much love and respect to students and even the administration. And, so people, would do anything for him. And you see that character in Ayuka. Like if you have a late night program, you'll have our people standing there and doing things. So
Actually, I think it's a important facet. I've heard it from many other people also that if your institution is democratic and
Yes.
you give a space for everyone, you listen to everyone, and then your scientific institute provides democracy even to students.
yeah,
I think you actually open up the doors for creativity.
right, right.
You are not doing, you are not treading the treaded path, but then
Right.
you are free to explore. I think it's an important lesson that I think we should learn from this.
Right.
Now let me come back to your career. You joined Ayuka as what, faculty or?
No, as a student, graduate student, and at those days it was just coming up. So when I came here, there were two green fields. One said Ayuka East Wing, another Ayuka West Wing, and of course that was a bit unnerving, but it was great. I had a great time because I was just crazily trying to learn at that
What
time.
was your work
I-
in your PhD?
I worked in cosmology. I worked on cosmic microwave background, and I was very lucky there too, because I started working on cosmic microwave background just the year that Cosmic Background Explorer, Kobe satellite,
Can we,
detected the first
for
fluctuations.
benefit of viewers, kind of interrupt you here. Can you say in kind of simple words where our viewers can, a large number of viewers can understand, what do you mean by cosmic background?
Yeah, so we know that the universe started from a very hot phase, and there is a relic of that in a radiation that pervades the entire universe. So and that is called the cosmic microwave background. So it's essentially a glow of
For
creation.
example, if I have a hot pot,
Yeah,
and then if I keep my hand a little away,
yeah,
I can still feel the warmth because
yes,
there is a radiation.
yes,
So in the same way, you are saying that when the universe was very, very hot,
yes,
it would have radiated something.
yes,
And that radiation is still there.
There,
And
yeah.
that's what we are looking at
Exactly.
it as a cosmic
yes, and that's
microwave background.
absolutely from the beginning of the universe. So that brings in huge
You
amount.
mean Actually at zero time?
No,
or
not a little after that, but compared to, so it comes from a time when the universe was 400 million years old, 400,000 years old, whereas the current age is about 14 billion. That was heralded like, again, many things recently, it was heralded like a big breakthrough in science, and it was exciting to be a graduate student at that time. And we were the first ones to write a paper from India on the cosmic background with my supervisor Varun Sahani. So it was great that Varun had just come in from Canada. He was aware that that area was going to be interesting, and we wrote the first paper from India on that. And then I got into this league of students who had worked on cosmic background. So I came to know the international community. So my postdoc was at a very good place.
Where did you do a postdoc?
I was at the Canadian Institute for Theoretical Astrophysics. Spent about 5 years abroad. And then I came back to IUCAA. Again, when I was coming back, I had an offer from ISC as well as IUCAA. And for personal reasons, I felt
So
IUCAA
you
was.
can say roughly you had about 20 years in IUCAA?
I have spent all the time from 1989 to now, which
As
is.
a faculty?
As a faculty, I joined in 2000, so it's like 15 years.
16
15 years.
But we'll have to take a small break.
Okay.
We'll come back after a few minutes. Please watch Eureka. Welcome back to Eureka. We are having a very exciting conversation with Professor Tarun Saurabhi. I want to ask you a naughty question.
Mm-hmm.
I am told that you are young because you spend a lot of time with young people.
I went for my Silver Jubilee reunion with my IT friends. Most of them are, of course, corporate, some of, finance, big guys. I mean, but what I noticed very interestingly is they seem to have aged more than me. And that set me thinking. And I attribute it to the fact that I live with young people. I mean, I enjoy working with undergraduate students, graduate students, and most of my time is spent with talking with them.
What do you think is happening in our higher education today?
I think higher education needs quite a bit of attention. Although we have set up these ICERs, I like the way ICERs are working though. They have the kind of flexibility that undergraduate education should have, but there should be more. ICERs should even have liberal arts with them, ideally. But it's in the right direction. But we need to really look at our very old way of, maybe just a British, kind of inheritance. And we should get over that. That produces clerks, that doesn't produce, creative people.
Even if you look at, for example, ICERs, we have about 7 ICERs now.
Yes.
So we are going to have an intake of something like about 900 people for a 120 crore population.
Yes.
Don't you think it's just a drop?
It's a drop in the ocean, but that's what I'm saying. But that drop is nice, but it should propagate. Yes, the university should realize that that's the way students should be taught. That should be respected and
So can you elaborate
acknowledged.
this part? I mean, I think this is important. Like you said that there is a different way the ICERs teach
Yeah,
than
it's
our traditional system that we
Yeah.
have inherited from British. Can you sort of elaborate?
See, they are more
a bit on
flexible in what courses you can. They treat you like adults in the sense that they tell you, okay, you can choose what you want to do. You can go and do a research project instead of a course, and I think that's important because when you start taking your own decisions, that's when you grow up. I find our typical system, if you take a student out on the street, they don't even know how to take care of themselves. Sometimes I, worry that they won't be able to cross the road.
So today, to the young generation, who is kind of our, large audience who are watching this exciting program, what would be the message that you would like to say, if at all you want to say?
I would say be broad, be open. Don't take the evaluation system that we have too seriously. Of course, you have to take it certainly seriously so that you make it to the right places.
Only up to that level.
Up to that level. I don't think you should, it doesn't, no one, I mean, when you meet back with my friends, we don't care who was the 10-pointer and who wasn't.
That's basically what
Yes.
you want to do. I want to ask you one question which might be very, very personal. Your name is there in the list of 1003 people in this paper which announced to the world the existence of gravitational wave. I mean, direct evidence for gravitational wave. How does it feel?
It feels great, but my role in that was that I was in it because I was pushing for LIGO India. As I said, I'm a cosmologist. I have worked in gravitational wave. One of my students, Sanjeet Mitra, and I worked on gravitational waves for some time. We have a common interest there, but I won't call myself a gravity wave researcher yet. So my goal was to set up LIGO India, make that happen, because when we came out, everyone said IIT is none. I mean, 90% of my friends are abroad. Okay, and you say there's brain drain, yes, but why? Because there are no challenging projects. So one of the people who inspired me is Govind Swarup. When I came here, Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope was being built at that time, and we had the best engineers of few years senior to me from IIT, Kanpur itself, working for him, and they had left very big jobs, opportunities to come because there was challenge. See, you should realize that brain drain is not because people just want to go to a US. It's because you are not providing the challenges back home. And so I am happy because LIGO, I mean, my name being there means LIGO takes LIGO India seriously.
So we have here a dream project, Indigo, that is India-based gravitational observatory, which we want to set up soon, and then we are all hoping such a feat happens very soon. With this word, we'll end today's Eureka. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sparing
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.